by the car, ride with the gun. Live for my queen, die for my son. Drink my cups, keep my lungs. Life to release, get off or none. I look around, see I'm from places we've been, spots that we hung. And it ain't the same, but we don't complain, but make no mistakes. Gotta ride with the mob, play with the drum. Bitch, I don't for none. Me and my OG, blowing on OG. Pushing my guns, gotta stay focused. Keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless. They don't know shit, they don't know shit. I ride with the mob, play with the drum. Bitch, I don't for none. Me and my OG, blowing on OG. Pushing my guns, gotta stay focused. Keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless. They don't know shit, they don't know shit. One shot right, the beers in the back. Hit the highway with the wind in my back. Blood in my eyes, tears in my yak. The nigga that you met saying nigga in my rap. I hit the road with minimal luggage. I came with killers if I'm in the function. I move with gorillas and all of the slugging. They ask where we from, straight out the jungle. They want my demise. I think it's funny, your bitch in my rap.
What's good? What's good? Huge upset tonight. Let me get on in here. I'm just gonna stay on here for just a minute. If anybody want to call real quick, I listen to what you got to say. Hell of a night. Odd night. Let me work on something here real quick. There we go. All right. Yeah, man. So Andy Ruiz becomes first Mexican champion of the world, unified champion. 7th round TKO. Shocks the world. I really kind of don't know what I just watched, to be honest with you. Shout out to Andy Ruiz and his team. Shout out to Manny Robles. That's a couple of upsets for him in the last couple of weeks. I'm just kind of stunned on what I just watched. I started having some bad feelings about it. I texted a couple of guys that I talk to pretty regularly and said it just had an odd feeling. And maybe that was just on DAZN in general. The Kelly fight was a bit of a disappointment. The Katie Taylor fight with Delphine Persoon was the decision on that one was a bit of a disappointment. Callum Smith, phenomenal performance by him. Amo Williams, the youngster out of Texas, he got to appear on the card. Interesting performance by him. But getting into the main event, man, it kind of really didn't even feel like a main event. I think Joshua came out a little better than what I expected him to be honest. I thought it was going to be a bit of a faster start from Ruiz, but he kind of was just getting the lay of the land, I guess, and just seeing what kind of opening Joshua was going to get off to, and the concern was just going back to the Takan fight. Joshua just doesn't seem to be a guy that's comfortable, having to bend over. Seems like he's conscientious of running into something. Just looks unsure. He just looked a little unsure of himself fighting smaller fighters. So that was somewhat of a concern of mine. Him being inside at the wrong point in time and getting caught with something or running into something. And that's kind of what we saw. He moved in for the kill after having Ruiz hurt, and I didn't think the shot was that big, to be honest. Now it might have been a shot that he didn't see, but I didn't think it should have had him in trouble like that. But his reaction, Joshua's reaction to most of the power shots tonight was just puzzling. It seems like he's been hit before. We've seen him days before. Obviously, we saw the knockdown against Klitschko. But damn, I've seen the man take some shots before. But he was reacting to a lot of the power shots just awkwardly. Getting into the 4 knockdowns. I was shocked that he made it to the 7th round. I kind of was wondering what the hell was going on with Ruiz. Why was he being so patient? Why did he let him get out of that third round? That just it felt odd to me, and I don't want to go conspiracy theorists and all of that, and get into any controversy and whatnot. But I just didn't understand being that patient at that moment. Confused me a little bit. Hold on, I got somebody that trying to see if my man want to call in real quick. He been bugging all week over on YouTube and whatnot. I mean on Twitter. I'm sorry, and he been going a little hard on a couple of different things. So I just was wondering if you wanted to call in and weigh in on it a little bit. Pretty popular dude on Twitter. But yeah, I just kind of didn't understand what was going on. To see him get up 4 times, and just not really improve. We did see in the Klitschko fight, he started talking trash to Klitschko, started gathering himself a little bit, and looking like some things were starting to fire for him when he went to come back in that fight. But in this one, he just seemed to really just never regain his senses in any way, and just started looking like a defeated fighter. And so going into the 5th and 6th rounds, he started working the jab a little bit, trying to reestablish himself a little bit. But I just kind of, honestly, I just really don't know what I was watching. Getting over to the knockdown, to the final knockdown. I guess we knew it was over. He's looking over at the corner. He spit out the mouthpiece. His body language was horrible. And then to go into the corner kind of with his arms up on the ropes, the referees communicating to him. He's really not being responsive. He's definitely not giving any indication that he wanted anymore. And the whole, to look shocked at the referee stopping it, an odd moment to me, which carried over into after the fight. Once the fight was finally over, being all celebratory for Andy Ruiz and congratulating the guy, just kind of not cognizant of what even just happened, and what he's now going to be known in history for. One of the major upsets in all the sports, definitely one of the biggest upsets in the division, and I don't get it. I really don't get it. But shout out to Ruiz though. Can't take nothing away from him. He did what he was supposed to do. Hadn't been noted as the biggest puncher, and that was kind of odd. I don't know if you saw the Vargas. Jesse Vargas was on there afterwards talking about his power, and I don't think we need to jump out there and say that he's the biggest puncher, and that's what's messing with me. Like I said, we've seen Joshua take some punches before. We haven't always seen him handle them all that well, but he was reacting tonight like he was just getting hit with some real heat. I don't really understand it. I'm not trying to defend him, but it just was an off night, man. It seemed like coming to New York, being as loose as he was, or as he was trying to be, just seemed like in the end it might have tripped him up. And I don't know. I'm kind of speechless. They talked about the rematch. They probably execute that immediately. Look for that to be over in the UK later in the year. Hearn comes up, tries to do a bit of damage control, and I thought, he stood up in the moment. But for the rematch, I really don't know what I would put into the rematch. I mean, I think right now I'm still kind of getting used to the fact. I tried to say this in some earlier videos. A brother commented on the page earlier and said, am I a Joshua fan or something to that effect? And taking my Wilder comments or my Wilder criticism kind of out of context, I was pulling for the division. I was pulling for boxing. I was pulling for an undisputed heavyweight title fight, which we may now get anyway. But that's what I was pulling for. It had nothing to do with rooting for with rooting for Joshua. But what I was trying to say a couple of weeks ago was this is the heavyweight division, and that it's a good possibility that this whole thing gets upset, waiting around, and that's what happened tonight. And so I guess I'm still kind of putting all of that together to even get to thinking about a rematch. I really don't know what too early to process for me. I mean, we got to see something. I don't even know how they put that together, other than it just has to happen. I'm really at a loss for words. I mean, I thought it was dope to have the different people come on and kind of discuss it with Clarissa Shields. Who else did they have up there? Devin Haney, Regis Prograis. Kind of interesting that Regis said he shed some tears. I think even Clarissa Shields mentioned that she shed some tears. Interesting. It was kind of crazy. Just a crazy moment. I mean, unexpected. And I guess for me, this isn't even the greatest. I mean, in ranking upsets and all of that, it's not that big of a deal to me because he didn't even really sing the way that the way that Joshua responded to it. I just didn't even know what the hell I'm watching. Like, at least once Mike Tyson came to his senses, I mean, he was like, I need them back. I got to get them back. And Joshua just was like he was getting ready to go hit the New York, nightlife, the night scene in New York or something. I mean, I really didn't understand what I was watching with him. I really didn't understand his body language, and a lot to process right there. That's not what I wanted. So I don't know, man. The division just got real interesting. I don't know if Ruiz, if the Joshua team gets back, Eddie Hearn and these guys get back across the pond and take a look at this thing and decide that they don't want to fight right away. Maybe they have more stuff to work on. Chris Mannix was on there talking about a change in trainer and whatnot. Maybe they're not ready to go at the end of the year like they thought they were in the ring tonight when they said it. And what does that leave for Andy Ruiz to go do in the interim? Does he go out and make another fight? Who knows? So crazy. I don't even know what to make it. I'm trying to buy some time to see if my man is gonna call in or not. I sent him the number like 10 minutes ago, but crazy night for DAZN. I mean, on one hand, looking into a potential opponent for Canelo with the fight that it was thrown out there a couple of times that Canelo could be looking at him as an opponent at Callum Smith. I think Callum Smith might have looked a little too damn good tonight. Not saying he could do all of that stuff to a Canelo, but height-wise, length, reach, and all of that, that seemed like a pretty bad fight for Canelo this early in that deal, to be honest with you. I would be shocked if that's the next fight. Obviously, we got to get to next week, take a look and see what Triple G does with Rolls in the same location in Madison Square Garden, see what that's about, how that turns out, and go from there. But yeah, I would be highly shocked if Smith was the call for Canelo. It would even be interesting if that would be the first, a fight for Danny Jacobs. I don't even think with him moving up to 68, I don't even think that would be a good look for him for starters in that division. But who knows? Wow, like I said, man, a bad night. And a couple of weeks ago, I know most people don't watch both sports, but it was kind of reminiscent of a couple of weeks ago when they had that Brazil card, or the card down in Brazil for the UFC, and a couple of the UFC a couple of the Brazil cats, the Brazilians got beat up on there. That was the night with Rose Namajunas or whatever, when Jessica Andrade took her out, and she was like the only Brazilian that had a victory that night. I think Anderson Silva got beat that night, maybe. But it's the same thing here with the UK invasion, the British, and whatever they called it earlier in the week. To look at the fights unfold tonight, and really, Callum Smith is the only one that comes out of this thing looking better than when he went in. So that's interesting. We give Eddie Hearn quite a bit of flack, man. I mean, he takes a beating out here trying to do his thing. But I tip my cap to the guy, man, because he talks it beforehand, and then it was interesting to see him talk afterwards. And I think that's one thing that's kind of, in some ways, with there not being a face over at the PBC, sometimes that's looked at as a strength for them, and sometimes when things don't exactly go right, there's no mouthpiece to really massage anything, or we just don't hear from this organization. And like I said, I guess sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But tonight, I tip my cap to Hearn a little bit. This is his flagship fighter. I mean, this is the cornerstone in his on his roster, and it was just put on his ass like 4 times, and had 4 belts taken off of it in front of the world. So, but he got on the mic and tried to salvage the situation, man. So that was interesting. I mean, that was damn near better than the fight. Watching him dance around and try to put together a story to explain this, and also hide the fact that a lot of stuff just took a big hit. So wow, that was crazy, man. Was there anything else to say real quick? Let me check this out. And I got a dude who might not even know how to work a cell phone the way that he's acting. So it wasn't much more to say, man. If anybody did want to call in, the numbers up there real quick. Other than that, I'm going to get ready to get on off of here. The division is, it's just turned on its head. I didn't check online to see if how many other heavyweights might have weighed in on social media and whatnot. I guess I could do a quick sweep and see if anybody said anything of note. Let me see here. Hello? Hello?
Ruiz, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Who is this? All right, that was one. It was a 937 number too, so that's something local. Call back if you can. Let me see. I was trying to check out to see if anybody had commented on this thing here. Mike Coppinger, pretty busy fella. He said, yet another reminder that boxing isn't a bodybuilding contest, blah, blah, blah. Andy Ruiz is the kind of... Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. What's good, man?
Yeah, man, that was my other phone. I was called from other one. I had a little bit more juice on it.
What's good, man?
Shit, this fight, that's what's good.
Let the folks know how to find you on... Let the folks know how to find you on social media, man. I see you on there cutting up earlier on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
Oh, yeah, it's at Lazy Lefty. LAZYLEFTY.
I've been trying to
get Lazy Lefty.
I've been trying to get you on the show for like 3 years now, so it's good to finally have.
Man, I be doing everything but sitting my ass at home. I'll be moving. I'll be into some other shit. I'm gonna end up getting me a camera, put it in my car, so I can show y'all what I be doing. I'll be seeing some crazy shit all day, every day.
So did you watch?
Matter of fact, I just came from Mount Washington to downtown. I was downtown at the fights. They had the fights at Washington Park. So I went down there and watched a couple of amateurs. AB boy got his ass whooped by this white boy. That shit was so funny. You got to check out my video. Man, that shit was so goddamn funny, man. But yeah, I love the fight. I just watched the replay because I was watching it while I was driving. Yeah, I just caught the replay. That fight wasn't even close, man. Joshua ain't even gonna. I doubt it. If he has a rematch clause, I don't think he's gonna exercise it. Because the fight wasn't close.
Yeah, I just got done speaking about that. I was wondering. I was wondering that, like, looking that bad, they might have quite a bit of work to do.
He got a lot of work to do. He gonna have to take a tune-up, man. But he didn't do anything from the third round on. I think Ruiz took off the fourth a little bit, so he maybe could have gave him the fourth. 5th, 6th, 7th, it was nothing, man. He wasn't jabbing. He was just moving around the ring. That's it. I mean, the fight wasn't even close. One judge had him up, which I don't understand how the hell you got him up.
Hey, were you shocked at the referee that they had?
Was I shocked?
At the referee that they had. I'd never seen that cat before.
No, I was just about to ask you, who is he? Because I didn't even pay attention to the ref, tell you the truth, because he didn't play a part in the fight, except waving it off. And I see people talking about he waved it off too early. No, he didn't. Joshua didn't want no more. Joshua was happy the fight was over with.
I'm gonna agree with you on that.
He was happy the fight was over. No, I'm gonna tell you why. If you go watch the replay, now, because I was arguing with old boy at the barbershop about the same thing. Go watch the replay. Why? Don't watch the full. Watch the replay after he won. The replay that the broadcast is showing, and you will see before the ref waved it off, Ruiz raised his hand because he knew he won it. Ruiz saw the same thing in Joshua's eyes that the ref saw before the ref waved it off. Ruiz put his hands up. He knew he won it before the ref waved it off.
Yeah, I saw that in the I saw that in one of the replay. I saw that in the replay where he did that. He was like he was still talking to him, and you're right. He did go on and wave his hands on that. Yeah.
Ruiz saw the same thing the ref saw. Ruiz knew the fight was over. He knew the fight was over. He knew Joshua didn't want no more. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't an early save. Joshua was happy that fight was over with.
You said he was happy, huh?
He was happy that fight. You see how much he was smiling? And then, tell you this, even after the ref waved it off, Joshua's hands still on the ropes. He never put his hands up. If you want to fight, get in the fighting stance. You don't fight with your hands on the rope, do you?
And that's why I'm sitting here kind of confused with not much to say, because I just don't understand what I just watched, because I just never seen nobody really quit like that. And I mean, I can't solely chalk it up to the fact that he was tired. I just really don't know what I was just watching.
he not only was he tired, he was confused. He didn't have anything to counter what Ruiz was doing. Watch, even though Ruiz took that 4th round off, kinda, Joshua didn't do nothing. He could have finished him that round. I think it was Sergio Moore. He said the same thing. He said if Ruiz didn't take that round off, he probably would have finished Joshua.
Which that kind of had me tripping. That had me bugging for a second because I was like, what's going on here? Why are you being so... I mean, I understand to be patient. He probably didn't want to make the same mistake
He wasn't patient. He wasn't patient. He was confused.
No. I'm talking about Ruiz. I didn't know why he didn't move in for the kill.
Okay.
And I think
he thought Joshua had more than what he did. But once he seen Joshua didn't have what he thought he had, it was over from there.
I don't know, man.
He was waiting on that Joshua rally, and the rally never came.
I don't know, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It looked awkward as hell to me. I mean, and then it was well over a minute and a half to go after that. But I guess, after the first knockdown. But I guess in some ways he didn't want to make the same mistake that Joshua had just made with him, possibly. But it just looked crazy to me.
True. But that second knockdown, he almost went to the ropes.
I mean, the rest of the fight was a wash after that, man. I just
wow. That's what I'm saying. Ruiz took the 4th off, and Joshua still didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He was tired, man. He was tired. He was gassed. Number one, he was confused. Number two, whatever Andy did, and then if you look at it, okay, after that knockdown, when Joshua came in the way he caught him, Joshua didn't fight at range. He came in inside. And Andy is a way better inside fighter than Joshua. If you see when he came in inside, Joshua slipped, boom, caught him.
That was kind of
Joshua's not an inside fighter.
At all. That was kind of my concern going into the fight was Joshua trying to operate inside, and I just felt like that would have been a horrible tactical decision. And that's
exactly what he did after the knockdown. He tried to operate inside instead of fighting his range. You know, a lot of people say Wilder is this and that. Wilder, he goes wild after a knockdown or he got a fighter hurt. But he got a chin on him, which a lot of people finally started to realize that.
Were you shocked that Ruiz was able to get up from his knockdown?
Not really, because there's just the thing about it. People don't understand Ruiz is a fighter. He's a fighter's fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like Ruiz, it ain't too much you gonna do in the ring that Ruiz ain't seen before. From his amateur background to his 30-something fights, he doesn't see it all. It ain't too much. You know, especially not from Joshua. It ain't nothing from Joshua he ain't seen before. The person that to give Ruiz problems is somebody like Fury. You know what I'm saying? Usyk. They would give Ruiz problems because they got more in their bag. Joshua ain't got nothing in his bag. Let's show tonight.
So if the rematch happens even in the UK, what kind of chance do you give Joshua in the rematch?
0. It's a bad style matchup. It's a bad style matchup. And I was saying, like I said, I had to retweet some old tweets. It's a bad style matchup. It's just a bad style matchup.
I don't know. I'm on the fence with that. I mean, they tried to go.
But you got to look at after the knockdown. What adjustments did Joshua make?
None. You're right. I mean, I'm not totally disagreeing with that. I'm just thinking that he doesn't make the same mistake at home, and that I don't know, man.
So if he don't make the same mistake, that means he's gonna be cautious all night.
Hell, but
maybe he's not gonna win on the back foot.
But maybe it was a better fight for him to extend the fight out to the 6th or 7th round instead of trying to go for it right there.
But he gasses.
And that's the
See,
problem.
that's the thing. That's the thing about Klitschko. Klitschko gasses too. Those are two big people, two big men. Klitschko gasses too.
Very true. Very true. I don't know. I just think he might be able to. I mean, you gotta give him some credit. I mean, Ruiz had never been down before, correct?
True.
So he put him down with a single shot. I mean, I give him a chance at home. I mean, I really do. But
Okay. Did you see that shot he caught Ruiz with, right?
yeah,
That hook. He never was able to set it up again. From that point on, Ruiz adjusted. Joshua couldn't go in his bag. He had nothing in his bag to adjust.
but hell, he was out of it. He was out of it for the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, he was out of it. Yeah, he was out of it for the next 3 rounds. That's true. But I mean, you gotta figure something. You gotta go in your bag and figure something. When Fury got knocked down the first time against Wilder, he went in his bag, right?
True.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Joshua bag is empty, and he's not. It's not going to be no immediate rematch. Joshua don't want no parts of Ruiz again. He wants no part.
What did you get to watch the Callum Smith fight?
No, I was downtown watching amateur.
So you haven't watched anything else?
So, I mean, so it was Nadal, man. What did he do? How many times did he knock him down? 15.
I think it was 3 times. It might have been 4.
Yeah. Did it go the distance or did he stop him?
Nah, it was stopped in the in the second or third round.
Okay, but I mean, Nadal is probably he been knocked down 100 times, and then he moved up to weight. So of course, that was a showcase. What about the Kelly fight? I heard he got exposed. I heard Katie Taylor got exposed.
I don't know if Kelly got exposed as much as I just don't know how you gonna I just don't know how he's gonna fight the style that he fights and and not use a jab whatsoever.
Man, they need to send all these boys back over to the UK. Send them all back over there, man, because they all a joke. They all a joke. The only one that's that real deal is Taylor. Taylor's that real deal.
She got beat, man.
No.
Oh! You mean Josh Taylor?
Yeah. He's that real deal.
I'll agree with you on that. I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah. But the rest of them, they could go back to where they came from, because they not with these writers is trying to make them out to be.
So what? Who was the event tonight down in Cincinnati, man? What was that?
It was amateur R&R doing an amateur show. It was nice, man. It was real nice at Washington Park. I parked at Finley Park and caught a red bike. I had a little piece with me. Caught the red bike. Went down to Washington Park.
How many fights was it?
Park. I don't even know. It was a car, though. Matter of fact, we went down there, watched a fight or two. Then we went down to a bar. Then rolled back up and watched the last 2 fights. The Broner fighter got his ass whooped. That white boy put it on him.
Was Broner at the fights?
I don't know. I didn't even check for him. I don't know.
But what did they announced him as Broner's fighter? So how you know he was Broner's fighter?
He came out with about billions, which surprised me because it was an amateur fight. I mean, this nigga came out like he had the bust on. He had he came out with the bust on. He didn't even have no headgear on when he did. I mean, the white boy sitting in the ring for about 5 minutes before he even came in the ring. He didn't even have no headgear on when he came in the ring. They put the headgear on him in the ring.
Callum Smith had a 3rd round TKO.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey, so what's the I saw there was a fight down. I saw that there's a card being put together by somebody new down there that Quayshawn Toller was gonna be on. You heard anything about that?
I ain't heard it. No, I ain't heard nothing about that yet.
I just saw a flyer about it. It's gonna be at the location was something that I wasn't familiar with. So but it's something that somebody is putting together.
I don't know. I see. I mean, because, you know, my man, he ain't really doing, he ain't living up to the potential that it could be. Because R&R amateur shows draw way more than his pro show, than Wyatt pro shows.
But did R&R? I heard that their license might be able to get to promote professional fights again.
Yeah, he gonna get his license back. When he get his license back, he gonna shut everything down.
All right. So what's up, man? Anything else out there on the schedule you want to talk about before we get off of here?
What else coming up? Rose, Triple G, which is I'm not my DAZN DAZN subscription expires today, so I'm not re-upping until they announce the WBSS. I'm not interested in Canelo versus Smith. I'm tired of seeing him beating on these British bombs. I'm good on that. I don't want to see Triple G Rose. They don't have anything else announced. I don't see the point of keeping it. You know, I don't want to see. Open Jones. I kind of want to see what he could do, but I'll catch that on the stream.
Yeah, you might be able to get that one on YouTube. But you know, Charles Conwell fights next week on that card.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Conwell is on.
Like I said, man, I catch that on the stream. I'm not about to pay $20. You know, I like to see him fight, but I'm not paying no goddamn $20 for this shit. I mean, that's more than Netflix.
Right.
That's more than Showtime. I can throw Netflix on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna watch that show about the Central Park 5. I'm gonna watch that. You know what I'm saying? I throw Netflix on every day of the week and watch something. I'm not about to pay no $20 just to watch something 2 times a month. That's crazy to me.
Right. Hey, well, let me ask you this before I get on off of here, man. What's your thoughts on the rematch between Harrison and Jamel?
I think Harrison is gonna win it more convincingly this time. Harrison got his swag back. You know, I'm from Detroit, so of course.
Detroit versus everybody, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna support the Detroit fight. Even though I like Charlo, I'm gonna support the Detroit fight. But I think Harrison got his swag back. You know, that fight gave him confidence.
But
gave him a lot of confidence.
But do you think that if Jamel steps it up, if he's able to step it up, do you think that Harrison will be able to adjust with a more aggressive Jamel?
Yeah. See, that's the thing about it. Harrison is a damn good boxer.
True.
I mean, you get in there. I mean, he might have a little chin problems, but I don't think Charlo is the one to expose that again. I mean, you know, he was Willie Nelson and Hurd, which I don't think Charlo was the one to expose it. But Harrison is a damn good. Harrison, one of the, you know, as far as pure boxing at 154, he might be the best pure box. Well, I got to go with J-Rock, but he might be two. It might be 1 and 1A. As far as pure boxers.
No, I agree with that. I agree with most of that. I just need to see it. I mean, I think I might.
You got Lubin. You got Lubin too. See, the thing about Lubin, though, he just got caught. He got caught. But Lubin too. You can't. You know, people kind of forgot about him, but you know, he coming up too. So you got a lot of, 154. There's a lot of lions at 154. He coming back. I think he'll beat Charlo in a rematch. But, we might not be able to see that because I think Harrison going to beat him. I think Harrison got his swag back. You remember when he fought Nelson? When he came in with the buffs on, repping Detroit. And, he just, that stamina caught up to him and that chin caught up to him.
Got you. All right, man. Well, look.
Hold on, wait. We got to give credit to my boy Jamel for watching.
Oh.
Ito watched him. Fight wasn't close. All they could talk about was Ito's right hand, which was nowhere. Jamel adjusted. And now you see, what's the boy name? The other champion. They stepped in the ring. Burchell, whatever his name.
Burchell.
Yeah, he talking about he want to fight Davis or somebody else. So, Harry might as well, he might as well come back to Cincinnati, have a tune-up fight, a showcase, before he fight the unification. He shouldn't still have to no unification because come on, man, he done been knocked out and lost. He done worked too hard to get that belt to go right to a unification. And they want to give it to they don't want the Mexican fighter to win.
So, that's a tough one. What he should do next?
I mean, if they ain't dropping the bag, he might as well take the showcase fight.
I agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I told him, if they're not dropping the bag, you might as well take the showcase fight. Come back. You work too hard for that belt to, for them to take the showcase, to take the unification without, you know what I'm saying? Let it build up. Take the showcase, come back, then do the unification. He could probably sell out Duke Arena.
I'll agree with you on that. Wait, man, I'm gonna get ready to get on off of here. Thanks for contributing to the show tonight. And like I said, man, I'm still sitting here a little dumbfounded on what the hell I just watched, man.
You just watched Joshua get exposed, like the reason why he didn't want to fight Wilder. That's what you watched. Because Wilder would have. Think about it. Joshua could come back from this. Wilder would have stretched his ass out. He wouldn't want to fight no more. Joshua never had that dog in him. He wouldn't want to fight. Joshua would have had his ass on the ground like he had Brazil. Now you see why he's so. Everything you got to be on his terms. Everything, you know what I'm saying? They try to play Wilder, and that's what people don't realize. That's the reason Wilder, he didn't even bother talking to him because they tried to play him. So Wilder said, "Okay, you want to do that? I'm gonna go and do my own thing. Whatever Joshua want to do, let him do his own thing." And the thing about it, Joshua would have beat Miller. This was a tougher fight, and that's nothing. That's why I keep telling everybody, look, Joshua. Everybody always talking about, the thing with Joshua. He's supposed to be the top draw, but he has all these problems making fights. You remember when Mayweather was the top draw, right? Never had no problem making fights. Because make a fight with anybody wants, except for Pacquiao. We know that situation. Never had no problem making fights. He could fight anybody. But everybody say the same complaints about Joshua. He lowballing me. He want this. He want that. You know what I'm saying? Same complaints about Joshua. So everybody else, like my mom used to always tell me when I was growing up, everybody else can't be wrong and you the only one right. It don't work that way. So it's something with Joshua. So what Ruiz did, which was smart, he took the short money for the opportunity, which was smart. So now you got Ruiz, Wilder. Basically, you got PBC on the whole heavyweight division.
Basically.
I'm telling you, Reg, Joshua's not taking no immediate rematch. He don't want no immediate rematch. Why would he take immediate rematch? What is he gonna do different?
I don't know, man.
Ruiz,
Stay outside.
Ruiz is just a better fighter. Ruiz is a better fighter. It's simple as that. He's a better fighter. Joshua didn't know what to do. He was in there confused.
No, it's like you said. I mean, he can let his combinations go. He's shorter and compact. He kept most of his work compact, and Joshua just that's he got too many moving parts to safely do what he want to do against him.
Yep. And when he caught that hook, he said, "Okay, I see what he did." He could never land it again. He didn't land it again the rest of the fight. He didn't land it again. Ruiz made adjustments. Joshua, he had no adjustments. He couldn't figure out no adjustments after that, man. He's always been out, man. I always say that's why. Come on, man. They hyping up all these foreigners, man. That's all they like to do is hype up these foreigners. They are not that good. They send them all back to the UK or Pakistan, wherever they from.
But
send them all back.
Would you agree with this though? We have seen Joshua take bigger shots than what he took tonight.
Yes. But we never seen him take as much damage as he took tonight.
Take as much what?
Damage.
Oh, okay. I don't know, man. I just don't know what I just watched, man. I'm gonna go back in here and watch it again.
When he got up from that Klitschko shot, I was surprised. I was highly surprised. But that shot right there changed Joshua forever. He has never fought the same way since then. He don't throw them combinations like he used to. He's a lot more cautious. What was it? His next fight after that was it Tackham or was it was Tackham, right?
You might be right.
And the ref stopped that fight early. That was an early stoppage. And then he fought Parker, which he went the distance. And he's talking about showing his skills. This is heavyweight. Don't nobody want to see Floyd Mayweather in the heavyweight division.
No, I'm with you on that.
Knockout.
I'm with you on that. That when he got on there talking that finesse boxing, I'm like, man, we ain't no finesse.
Yeah.
Ain't no finesse boxing.
No. Leave that to the lower weights. We see knockouts in the heavyweight division. Then he came back. He knocked out Povetkin. Okay, which Povetkin tailor-made for Joshua. Miller tailor-made for Joshua. Parker tailor-made for Joshua. But somebody with a little finesse to their game, Fury would have beat him. Fury would have beat him easily. Wilder would have knocked him out. One punch. Like we seen with Ruiz. I'm telling you, man, he has never been that. I've never seen what other people seen in him. For a minute I did, and I was like, no. This ain't what people trying to tell me it is. And I see that with a lot of fighters that these writers be trying to hype up. Like, this guy ain't. It ain't what I think he is. The only one really, and they're not even hyping him up, is the Japanese fighter. Anyway, he's the real deal.
It's starting.
He passed eye test.
It's starting to happen.
Tech.
It's starting to happen.
Yeah, it's starting to happen. But if you want to talk about pound for pound, he got to be up there. Pound for pound with resume and the eye test, he got to be up there 1 or 2. I might put Canelo above him, but then, because Canelo resume, but then, he got to be 1 or 2. He passed the eye test and he got the resume. Usyk, he is saying he passed the eye test and he got a resume. Canelo, he passed the eye test and he got the resume. But all these other guys they be hyping up, man, they I don't know, man. I don't understand what they be saying, to tell you the truth. I just read so much ignorant shit come across my timeline. Like, man, these people have no idea. Like I said, all they do is just amplify each other's opinions. As long as you think the same way as them, they gonna amplify you. And that's why they end up being wrong so much. They be wrong about everything. That's why I understand how you can listen to somebody that's always wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're wrong about everything, but yet they keep amplifying each other being wrong. They loud and wrong. I don't understand that. You see my little rant I had.
I saw you.
Be pissing me off.
What started all of that?
One of everybody's favorites, who everybody thinks is such a great writer.
Who was that?
Griezmann, fighting words to David Griezmann or Griezmann, whatever his name is. Say some dumb shit. Well, Brazil dropped his hands. That's why he knocked him out. Motherfucker, Brazil dropped his hands against Mansour. He dropped his hands against Joshua. He dropped his hands. You know what I'm saying? He got knocked out because Wilder knocked his ass out. And this shit sounded like a goddamn bomb went off. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give him no credit at all. He dropped his hands against all of them. And none of them put him out like that. They just don't want to give these American fighters no credit whatsoever, man. I don't understand it. But you know what? You can see the results. The results show that American fighters are the most popular. That's what the results show. As far as ratings and all that stuff, they talk about when Joshua sold out Madison Square. Yeah, he sold out, but you got to realize too them tickets was bought by brokers and you know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Well, let me ask you this.
Drop.
Let me ask you this very last question. Did they just mess up the big bag with the undisputed title?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is why I had a cat come on, make a comment on a video earlier saying, I was team Joshua basically or whatever, and I'm like, I was just rooting for the undisputed fight before it got wrecked because it's a group of heavyweights that's coming that I thought was gonna mess this whole situation up.
Yeah, but Joshua messed it up himself. He messed it up himself by rejecting that offer from Wilder, that $50 million offer, which people say didn't exist. Which, I mean, when you really break it down, you gotta look at it like this. Wilder is backed by Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman, who are responsible for billions of revenue in boxing. Billions. Nobody, you take that you can't find another two combination of managers who have made as much money in boxing as those two. Can you? Managers or promoters. Can you name you can put Bob Arum and Don King together. I still don't think they made more money than they're responsible for more revenue than Finkel and Heyman. But people want to say that they couldn't come up with a measly $50 million? Are you talking billions? You know what I'm saying? These people operate in billions, and you don't think they came up with a measly $50 million?
I'm seeing it right now. Kevin Iole put out there, great job, Al Heyman. Great job, Shelly Finkel. Great job, Eddie Hearn. You cost this sport a mega fight. Sheer incompetence, unreal.
What? Incompetence? How is that incompetence? The only thing incompetent is Joshua didn't want to take the $50 million after he said he wanted 50. Wilder offered him 50, and he didn't take the $50 million. That's incompetent. That ain't got shit to do with Al Heyman or Shelly Finkel. That got everything to do with Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua. And these motherfuckers were still, to this day, talking about the $50 million weren't real. How's the $50 million not real when you're dealing with Heyman and Finkel, who deal in billions when it comes to boxing? They don't deal in millions. Eddie Hearn ain't never seen the type of money, the type of revenue. He's never produced the type of revenue these two have produced. You know what I'm saying?
This is one thing. This is one takeaway that I did have for the night. Keith Eidick just tweeted that Eddie Hearn just told us, I guess this is a press conference or whatever, but Eddie Hearn just told us he got the sense from Anthony Joshua that he's relieved to have suffered his first loss because there was so much pressure on him.
Well, that's what I've been saying. Listen to me. I've been saying that forever. Joshua is not, I've read articles, I listened to him talk. This guy, he's not up there mentally. He don't have that mental. You remember he told the fans, you gonna fight Wilder? He told the fans, you gonna fight Wilder. This is what I be trying to tell people, man. And this is what pissed me off so much. They shit on Floyd, they shit on Floyd, they shit on Floyd. But you gotta realize, the whole media was against Floyd, right? Right?
Correct.
Okay. The whole media was against Floyd, but he was focused. Floyd is the Jordan and the Kobe of boxing. Always in shape. Floyd's in shape right now. Always in shape, and was able to zone everything out. Come on, man. You can't cherry pick your way to 49-0. And I tell people, name me a fighter that's got a better resume than Floyd from the time he fought, Vladimir, until the time he fought Pacquiao. You can't. You can't. Who was the last tune-up? He never took a tune-up fight. Once he got to the top, he never took a tune-up fight. You got Canelo fighting, fielding, tune-up. You know what I'm saying? Name a time Floyd fought a fielding level fighter. When was the last time Floyd fought a fighter on the level of a fielding? or Rose or Mark Baines Marsoudi. When was the last time Floyd fought a fighter like that? Floyd took off 2 years and fought Marquez. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand. I always say Joshua is not. He's weak-minded. His mind is very weak. He whines and complains all the time. You know, I could tell he couldn't handle the pressure, man. And that just goes to show you how great of a fighter Floyd was. I mean, you can pay 50, 60, 70 million a fight, and every single fight you come in tip-top condition. Every single fight you tune everything up for the media.
But that's what I saw. That's what I saw from Joshua at the end of this fight, man. When he was hanging around with his arms over Chris Mannix's shoulder and standing in between him and
he was happy.
Andy Ruiz.
He was happy.
And
he can't take that pressure. He ain't got that Wilder in him. Wilder's a dog.
That's what I took away from it.
Yep.
That's what
Wilder's a dog. Wilder got that dog in him. And Joshua didn't have that. Even Eddie Hearn said it. He said it earlier in the interview. He said, I wish Joshua call early this week. He said, I wish Joshua would come out and call. He said, I can't tell Joshua to call Wilder a coward because I'm not in the ring. Only another fighter can call Wilder a coward. He said, I wish Joshua would call Wilder a coward. That's not Joshua. Joshua is he's very meek. He didn't want that pressure, man. That pressure was too much for him. That's what you saw from him tonight, that pressure. Debut in America, Madison. You remember he used to always say he didn't want to fight. You got to realize this too, Red. Joshua was forced to fight in America. Excuse me. He didn't want to fight in America. They forced him to fight in America. After his first fight on DAZN, which only did like 30,000 views, which a lot of people said Carpenter was wrong, but when the article finally came out and said that DAZN didn't get hundreds of thousands of viewers into Canelo, that Canelo fought out to Joshua, so that lets you know that it was around that little 30,000 because they didn't even have any subscribers until then. So he was forced to fight in America. He didn't want to fight here. He had all his fights lined up at Wembley. Everything had to be in his comfort zone. He didn't want to fight in America. That's why Lewis kept saying, I don't understand why he don't want to fight in America. He don't want that pressure. You had Madison Square Garden,
Charlemagne,
you had New York, the media capital of the world.
Charlemagne the guy said, "Get AJ the F out of the USA" on Twitter.
Exactly. Thank you. He never wanted to fight in the USA, man. Everything Joshua was forced to fight here. He did not want to fight in the USA, but DAZN made him fight in the USA. And I keep telling people that, and they're not listening. Eddie Hearn, they went to Eddie Hearn and told him, look, you ain't been doing shit. Canelo's been bringing in all the viewers. Your fights ain't been you. What good fights has Eddie Hearn had on? They didn't even buy White Chisora. You remember? You remember when they announced a press conference for White Chisora and Eddie Hearn, and you got DAZN in the background, and Eddie Hearn talking about where did the fight end up at? Huh?
Which one?
Dillian White and Chisora. You remember when the fight was first announced and they had the press conference? You got the DAZN backdrop and all that, right?
Uh-huh.
Where did they end up fighting at? What network did they end up fighting on?
Oh, yeah, on Showtime.
Okay, right. That's what I'm saying, because Eddie Hearn was not producing. They told him, you got to produce. Joshua has to fight in the U.S. because you got to get that time slot. And they gave him that right after Canelo, where if you bought the Canelo fight, you get the Joshua fight also. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of little behind-the-scenes shit be going on people don't pay attention to. If it was up to Joshua, and that's another thing, that's what I tell motherfuckers, Joshua, he's sacrificing his career to make Matchroom money and make Eddie Hearn money instead of making himself money.
Gotcha. Hey, well, look, let me get on up here, man. My wife done texted me 10 times. I was only going to get on here for 10 minutes. I'm going to have to get you back on. I'm going to have to get you back on, man, now that I done figured out how to get the audio into the live stream. But appreciate your time, man. And, You know, we'll link up soon.
Hold on, wait. I just saw that comment. I've been asking ladies to come on for 2 years now. He won't get on. Hey, I got a lot of shit to say. So we gotta do a long pod. We gotta do a long one.
I've been told
I got shit to say for years.
I've been told you I was trying to get you a segment on the podcast.
I'm telling you, look, I got a lot of shit to say.
All right, well, we ain't gonna say it tonight, man. Let me get on off of here, man.
All right,
man.
Yeah.
All right, well, interesting night here, and like I said, I'm still bugging off some of it. That's boxing. But let me get ready to shut this down, man. Go up here and get cussed out because this brother came on here and talked all damn night.
Fuck that. It's the one. Everybody call, ride with the gun. Live for my queen, not for my son. Drinking my cups, smoking my lungs. The life that we leave, get off or none. I look around, the city I'm from, the places we've been, so I still be hung. And it ain't the same, but we don't complain, but make no mistakes. I ride with the mob, stay with the drum. Bitch, I don't fear none. Me and my OG. Pulling no OG, so cushion my lungs, gotta stay focused, keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless, they'll blow shit, they don't know shit. I ride with the mob, stay with the drum, bitch I don't fear none, me and my OG, pulling no OG, so cushion my lungs, gotta stay focused, keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless, they'll blow shit, they don't know shit. What should I ride, nigga, beers in the lack, hit the highway with the wind in my back, blood in my eyes, tears in my yak, the nigga that you met, same nigga in my raps, I hit the road with minimal luggage. I came with killers if I'm in the function. I move with gorillas and all of it's thuggin'. They ask where we from, straight out the jungle. They want my demise. I think it's funny, yo bitch on my line. Pussy get punished, you know I'm a ride. That rolling get